welcome along to the MODUS Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth for our second session of the day. By the close of play tonight, we will have our completed lineup for finals night. If you weren't with us this afternoon, though, you missed a history-making afternoon as Fallon Sherrock became the first female to hit a 9-darter on TV. Check it out now.
Max.
180. 140.
Nearly followed by one of Lipscomb's own. And Sherrock is continuing upon a road towards perfection. That's a second Max in succession. Never has it been done on television by a female player before. Fallon Sherrock wants treble 19. And now double 12 to become the first ever female player to hit a televised 9-dart finish. Fallon Sherrock is a history maker once again.
Absolutely remarkable. And one thing that has kind of gone under the radar is that she was 3-1 down in that match and still fighting for her spot at finals night as well. Really incredible comeback in that game.
Yeah, winning that leg and then going on to win the match was key in part of her qualifying for tomorrow night's final. And yeah, that made it even more special for her, the fact that she had to win that leg.
And just sum up how significant a moment this is in our sport.
Well, the over 3 million people that have viewed it already, and just on one of the social media platforms. Yeah, it's huge. Again, it's everything that she has done, and when she won at the Worlds and then had that amazing run in the Grand Slam, and obviously the things she did on the Super Series, it just brings new eyes. You know, it's a bit like comparing it, I suppose, in some way to the other types of boxing that's about the misfit boxing and things like that, and the YouTubers. Although it's not, you know, it brings eyes to our sport, and Fallon certainly does that. She brings eyes to our sport.
She certainly does. She and Scott Baker, the two players to qualify for finals night via the Group C table. Were they the right players to come through for you?
Yeah, I think so. It was a bit of a mini battle, wasn't it, at the top of the table between themselves and Marco Cantella. And yeah, I think they were just about the two best players. And it's going to make already for a great final with John Henderson dominating Group A in the manner in which he did. And Fallon's going to be on the crest of a wave. And it looks like Scott Baker's in pretty good nick as well.
Yeah, 3 spots still to be confirmed. And we will find out who they will be tonight. Let's remind ourselves of how things lay at the halfway point in Group B. McDonald will be scratching his head, wondering how he only has 2 points to his name at the halfway stage, having performed well all night. James Hurrell is one of 3 players on 4 points, but having lost his final match 4-0, his leg difference is inferior. Michels also won 2 games last night. His highest checkout, this 157, coming in defeat, but he did end the night with a win and 94.5 average. As for Ryan Furness, this 126 was one of his 2 ton-plus outs en route to victory over Hurrell. He sits second, only behind Scott Marsh, who lost just 1 game last night. He averaged just shy of 99 in his opener, the second best performance of the night. He's now 2-7 to win the group. Yeah, let's get confirmation then of how things lay at the halfway stage and have a little look at the league standing. Scott Marsh is out on top on 6 points at the moment. It's quite incredible, isn't it? We weren't really talking about him because we weren't sure what sort of form he'd be coming here in.
Yeah, he's not played a lot of darts of late, so normally when he plays a lot in the Super Series, he use this as his motivation to prepare. He's already qualified for Lakeside in December, so his practice for that hasn't quite started. But yeah, I think this tournament's come at the right time for him. He played some really good stuff last night, just dropping one match.
Yeah, let's have a look at the outright betting, because the odds have really shortened, haven't they, for Scott Marsh? Look at that. He was out at 6-1 last night. Now he's 2-7 to top the group. Where do you think the value is tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Scott Marsh being the outsider of all five, and now tonight he's absolutely nailed on a 2-7 to win the group. Probably look at, actually, Moreno Michels at 10-1. I mean, he's played some lovely stuff this week. I don't think the level of play last night was anything that he can't compete with. And he may be one just to pick for a bit of fun, but yeah, it's hard to see against Scott Marsh because he played some really good stuff last night.
Yeah, unlikely that Sean McDonald will top the group, but he still has a very good chance of qualifying, doesn't he? Because he performed quite consistently last night.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Group B and why we love it so much. He's played over the 2 nights. There's only 5 players, so I mean, we've seen players who've not picked up a single win on the Thursday night come in Friday, win all 5 out of 5 and qualify for the Saturday night and go on and win it.
Yeah, let's have a look at the bet builder for tonight's action. Then these are the 3 picks that return just over 5-1. Marsh and Hurrell. Hurrell under 1.5 in the handicap betting is the first selection. McDonald against Michels, and it is McDonald to come through that one as the match winner. Then our third pick is Hurrell against McDonald again, and that one over 5.5. Would you agree with those selections, Mace?
Yeah, well, they're the most popular bets on the exchanges, but no, nothing there that particularly appeals to me, if I'm honest. But listen, they often know more than we do. They're professional gamblers.
Absolutely. Right then, let's get the action underway, shall we? And fill up our lineup for finals night. Our first match is Michels taking on Furness.
Thank you very much, Abby. And, well, let the calm descend following the storm this afternoon at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth, where Fallon Sherrock has made yet more history within the sport of darts, the first ever female player to hit a televised 9-dart finish. But our focus very much this evening is upon the exploits of Group B, where we have a very tight and very competitive group where it is all up in the offing. Moreno Michels finds himself on 4 points from the opening night's play. Both of these players find themselves on 4 points. In fact, they are the second and third place players respectively. Ryan Furness, the man from Salisbury, once again adorning himself in one of his funky golf shirts.
First leg, Moreno to
Danny McNamara is our referee for this one. And it is Michels to get us underway here for our Friday night Tungsten treat here at the Super Series. And we're going to be watching it in the company of Mace the Ace himself. It's a very good evening to Chris Mason.
Evening, Henry. Evening, everybody. Really been looking forward to seeing how this particular Group B is going to play out because, well, nobody expected, well, maybe Scott Marsh expected to be on top of the table after night 1, but certainly the odds compilers didn't see it that way. To go from 6-1 to 7-2 on.
Now, not to be the dampener of the spirits here, but considering... Here we go. Considering he only has a 2-point lead at the top of the table, are those odds a bit too short in your opinion?
Yeah, that's why I thought maybe the man in action, Moreno Michels, could be the outside pick for a little bit of sport. I mean, I said it before we started the group tomorrow night with Abby up on the balcony. I just couldn't. I'd have made him, I don't know, 7-2 the field because there was nobody I could comprehensively pick who stood out that I'd be confident that we'll win this group. I think it's one of the most wide open groups we've had in a long time. I think it's a very level playing field. And when you've crunched the numbers, it backs that up, doesn't it?
Well, when you consider the fact that the player at the bottom of the field was 3 legs away from going through the cards, that says it all.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. 3 lost. They were all full threes.
$60. Moreno, you require 40.
Tots for Michels for a 1-0 lead. Tots is found for 1-0 lead.
Michels.
It was an interesting night as far as Ryan Furness is concerned. It was kind of an evening of 2 halves. Got out the gates flying, 87 average against Scott Marsh, a 110 finish in there. And we thought the signs would be very positive. He then declined back down to a base of 77.9, but he managed to pick up the win against James Hurrell. So those are his 2 victories of the night. He then lost out to Sean McDonald, who averaged 99, Furness 87, and then lost this fixture yesterday with a 78 average.
45.
Yeah, that was the only real blot, wasn't it, on his night? Didn't perform, but credit to Moreno in that one. He played lovely. 50% on the doubles, couple of 180s,
55.
and an average of 94.44. For me, his best performance of the night.
100.
But having watched him closely in Group A, we felt that he might have something to offer this group, didn't we?
Well, I mentioned to you that he's got this kind of familiarity towards Patrick van den Hardwijk that he won in the previous series, where there was other players that were standing out. They were harping the headlines. But Patrick just went under the radar somewhat, managed to get into Group B, qualified through Group B, and then he let the chaos descend upon him. John Henderson getting eliminated early on in the night, and then he did his business against Wesley Blazier and then beat Jared Cole in the final. But this has been a good response from Furness here with the darts. 113 after 12 to level Patines up at 1 apiece, and he's got 6 darts from here to do that.
Treble 19, double 18.
77.
That's got the luxury of time. Michels in desperate search of a treble now.
93.
Finds that treble. But is that going to be academic?
36.
2 18s for a level game.
Game
No drama.
Leg, Ryan Furness.
Obviously gutted to read that Tom Taylor's flights were cancelled today, so he won't be taking part in the much anticipated return to playing on the Pro Tour. Seen a lot of names pulling out. I think a fair few players have struggled with travel.
And I think there's also been issues with call-ups from the Challenge Tour and Development Tour, because there's a couple of players who've gone off to play in events elsewhere, such as the WDF event in Spain at the weekend and other such competitions that can't travel in time because the call-up was so late.
And a lot of players here that had call-ups for the weekend that are playing the full week next week.
Yeah, Conan Whitehead is here on Monday.
This is Steve West, who wouldn't have got a call-up, of course, didn't go to Q School this year. Colin Osborne certainly would have been on that list.
James Howell, who's playing tonight.
Yeah.
59.
Well, it's been a night so far, or a game so far. It's been dominated by the player throwing first.
60. $140. Marina require
140 piles the pressure on this for Michels, who isn't going to complete the job this time. And so Furness back, 80. Looking to make 1, 2, 3 as easy as A and B, C.
66, so single 16. Oh, paid the price, chased the treble, no dart at the ball.
91.
And so for a 2-1 lead, Michels 3 at tops.
Game shot on the third leg, Marino Michels.
Finishing very tidy from both. 2 from 2 for Moreno.
Fourth leg, Ryan.
1 from 2 for Ryan.
Game on.
You do want to get in touch with us, direct into the comms box. We do have the Twitter / X app open at MSS Darts, or one word if you have anything to say on the incredible moment of history this afternoon featuring Fallon. Get in touch with us. Or if you just have any questions regarding the MODUS Super Series, we're happy to help.
Well, it's actually a proud moment for, well, Danny McNamara, you can just see on the side of your screen there, because he was spotting earlier on this afternoon, and it's the first ever 9-dart leg that he's been involved with in any kind of which way. So a very proud moment for him.
Yeah, and a great moment for Justin. Yeah, all the team here.
139.
First women's one I've ever seen. First one you've ever commentated on.
60.
Apparently, Danny McNamara has been refereeing for the best part of 13 years. Has never been involved in something like that. Big achievement.
Run your corner.
So it's going to be a big finish for Furness. Not to be. In fact, it was a 9-dart finish hit by a female player, but also called by a female camera operator as well.
92.
Yeah, good point.
Run your corner. 82.
It is
34.
The ball for Michels, the 3-1 doesn't go, and so Furness 54 for a level game at 2 apiece.
$44.
Oh, that's the first mistake.
48.
Real mistake in the match. Will it be costly? Double 16.
Game shot on the fourth.
Certainly was.
Michels.
Puts Michels 3-1 up, and a big game in the context of the group. The winner moves on to 6 points, and the winner puts himself level with Scott Marsh, who's in action up next against James Hurrell. A win for Hurrell. Well, incidentally, if Hurrell wins the next one, if Michels wins this one, Hurrell beats Marsh, and then Furness beats McDonald.
140.
You've got the top 4 all priced on 6.
As we anticipated.
42.
Now, we may have a lot of new viewers tonight because of what happened this afternoon, so we'll just describe the format of the MODUS Super Series a little bit more clearly. So 12 players compete each week across 3 groups to qualify for Saturday night's finals. Group A is a group that takes place on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where the top placed player goes through. This week, that was John
60.
Henderson. The other players are then put into different groups where other players join in. So Fallon Sherrock was part of Group C this afternoon, a group where 2 players from 6 progress their way through. She's going to be joined by Scott Baker there. So tonight here in Group B, it is a 5-player group where the top 3 will progress through to tomorrow night. It's a 6-player field where we play a round robin, then knockout, and the winner of the week will play at Champions Week, which is a 13-week curtain closer week, where the winner will take home £20,000 and the MODUS Super Series trophy.
95.
Yeah, the winner tomorrow night takes home £5,000, the runner-up £2,500, and so on and so forth. And if you want to join us, doors are open on a Saturday night. Tickets are free. It's just a very small booking fee to reserve your ticket. The doors open now on a Saturday around about 4 o'clock for now, because we are hosting the ADC belt matches. This week it's
60.
Sam Cromwell taking on
70.
Scott Marsh, who we're going to see next for the English title. And then the action here
50.
gets underway at 7:30. We'll play the 6 round robin matches, the 2 groups of 3. That will give us our semi-finals. That will not start before 10 o'clock because we're joined by our friends whose live coverage of ground racing will end as Marina Michels makes a great start to the night, winning 4 legs to 1. He picks up the 2 points, and he does join Scott Marsh on 6 points. When we come back, it is Scott Marsh in action against James Hurrell.
Right then, our Group B leader is next up tonight. Scott Marsh taking on James Hurrell. Marsh, the 4-0 winner when the two met yesterday. 4 out of 6 on the doubles, limiting Hurrell to just 3 darts at the outer ring in that contest. Can he edge closer to finals night with another win here? Let's find out with Mace and H.
Thanks, Abby. Yes, Scott Marsh did a bit of a job on James Hurrell. And when they met yesterday, Scott was trying to find his price against James. He was priced at 7-4, wasn't he? And he was, as Abby mentioned, absolutely mustard on the doubles, 66%.
First leg, Scott to Thoroughford.
Average just shy of 90, as
Game
did
on.
James Hurrell. But was limited in the opportunities. And one thing we do know about Marsh, he tends to come out the blocks fairly quickly, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, last night he came out the traps flying. 41. It was a 98.79 average and a 4-1 win against Moreno Michels. Interestingly, Scott Marsh top of the table. They still have him as the outsider in this game at 11-10. James Hurrell in your picture here, kicking off the match with a max, is 4-6.
Yeah, he's 11-10 with the throw, but 2-7 to win the group. Answers on a postcard.
You could make it up. They'd lock you up. But what a start this is becoming. We really are being treated today.
$95.
Outside of the Super Series, you've been involved in so much of in the sport, Chris. Where does this, what Fallon did earlier, go in terms of things that you've seen, you've witnessed, and milestones that have been broken?
Well, I've only really seen a lot
100.
of outside of the Embassy and Lakeside. Maybe some of the World Masters. The ladies in the past haven't had too much exposure or opportunities, and because the opportunities were few and far between, you rarely got the best out of them. But I think what we've seen in, well, going as far back as what Trina did for the sport, and Maureen Flowers and players like that before her, of course. But there was a real change in direction
41.
with players like Lisa Ashton and Dita and Fallon, of course, and now Bo. And Frances Honsler, of course, and Eileen de Graaf. And there's so many of them, but
102.
what we have seen in
Scott
recent times, especially, is...
139.
Well, we've seen Lisa have 100-plus average, didn't we, against Darren Beanie? And now we've seemed to have seen multiple averages like that now, and higher. But in terms of
87.
attention on
James
the sport of darts,
25.
I don't remember too many things to rival what's happened today. Maybe
Game shot on the first leg. James
Phil's
Hurrell.
9-darter. Of course, social media wasn't anything like it is today. But that
Second leg,
created
James to throw first.
a massive
Game on.
attraction, being the first British live 9-darter. First live 9-darter was done a little while before that by the late, great Sean Greatbatch, of course, in the
140.
Dutch Open.
Do you remember where you were when Phil Taylor hit that 9?
Yeah, stood about 4 feet behind him.
Not again, Phil, not again. Is that another one for the psychiatrist couch?
57.
I didn't mind that one. It was almost destined to happen. It just happened that it was against me. I've been quite
60.
lucky. Well, I've hit them and been on the end of them. I've chalked one. I've done one on the radio. And now I've done the first. Been present for the first women's one. It's quite a privilege.
85.
It was a privilege and honour to be sat alongside you, Chris.
Glad you enjoyed the moment.
Well, who's going to be enjoying a Saturday night here at the Live Lounge? That's the question we're asking in this game.
Well, it was actually 12 perfect darts, wasn't it?
Oh, goodness me, could you imagine she went back to back? Oh, actually, that's not even worth
99.
thinking about, actually, is it? The attention that it's had has been incredible. Would have been almost Van Gerwen-esque.
60.
17, of course, against James Wade in the 2013 World Championship semi-finals.
It's the double 12 for back-to-back, didn't he? That's bonkers.
Still one of the most iconic lines ever from John Gwynn. Blackpool in July, London in December.
140. James require 141.
And this was the finish that sealed it for Sherrock. I was not going to take for a 2-0 lead. So Marsh has got the break chance now on 120 to square the game back up at 1 apiece. A victory for him would move him on to 8 points. A win for Hurrell would mean 3 players tied on 6. And Furness taking on McDonald next would mean 4 players could be tied on the same number of points at the top. However, Marsh has different ideas as he goes for tops for the 120 finish. And he notches it with aplomb, climbing the ladder with relative ease.
Third leg Scott to throw first. Game on.
If Luke Littler goes on, these tournaments are named after players, and of course stadiums are named after footballers. It is called the Live Lounge, of course. It could be changed to the Luke Littler Lounge.
I'll let you take that up with the bosses, mate.
$60.
Although it would be, if paths correlated, how good it would be to see a match between Fallon Sherrock and Luke Littler here at the Super Series. That would be a dream team type clash.
Absolutely. I mean, closer in terms of ages, you'd probably
96.
go for Luke Littler and Bo Greaves, wouldn't you? I think that would sell out here as a special
60.
one-off.
As long as the undercard is better than, well, what's going on with your sport at the minute, with
41.
big clashes not being able to be put together.
Now they won't fight each other, or they're failing drug tests.
So Marsh here, 2-2-9 to move himself into a 2-1 lead. His first dart just sits below, like, even though there's a little bit of a kick up, it's quite inviting for him.
140. $60. Squadron
19.
89.
Double 16. Doesn't find the treble. He doesn't need to go 20 ball. Ooh, look at that for a snarl. So it could be treble 10. He does like tops.
49.
Good board management from Marshy.
And if Marshy can win this one, he may see the wood from the trees as far as qualification
95.
for Saturday night is concerned. He's looking at tops here for a 2-1 lead. And double 10.
30.
Doesn't go.
Look at the reaction.
James, you require 126.
All 19s ball. 6 19s. Oh, it's going to be 4. Ooh, can't believe that's not found the target. Look destined for the treble.
58. Scott, you require 10.
And so Scott Marsh wants double 5 for a 2-1 lead.
Game
Bound for a 2-1 lead. Scott Marsh halfway towards the victory pose, which would put him onto 8 points, and importantly would put himself 4 points clear of 4th and 5th spot respectively.
Thought this could have been a potential banana skin for Scott Marsh.
140.
Seen flashes of brilliance from Hurrell this week. That lovely 101 average.
$100.
Just having a look at Scott Marsh's route through to winning the British Open title a couple of years ago. His first real big major title, and from the last 64 onwards, he did not have things the easy way whatsoever.
Yeah, outside of what he had achieved down in Southampton
60
in this event, that was his real breakout tournament, wasn't it?
So he beat Carl Hamilton in the round of 64. Then when it came to the round of 32, beat Neil Duff 4-1, who'd then go on to be the world champion in April. In the last 16, Mike Gillett by 4 legs to 2. Quarterfinals, Martin Atkins from Leeds 4-2. Semi-final, he beat Mike Warburton in the last leg decider, before then getting past Connor Scott, who was at the peak of his powers at that particular point in time, in a last leg decider 6-5, having trailed that game by 5 legs to 2. He literally ran about the place once he won that.
Don't blame him.
That was back in the days when he was playing in long-sleeved shirts.
Remember Dean Winstanley's run about the stage on the back of his 9.
Some say he's still somewhere around Muswell Hill. How is Dean these days?
Yeah, he's doing all right. Last time I seen him, he was working over in Dubai, I think. Lorraine, of course, his wife's very heavily involved in the world of darts. Very good commentator as well. Double 10.
110.
This for a 3-1 lead and to put him one away from 8 points.
$43. James, you require 10.
Double 5 for Hurrell.
Game
for 2-2 parity, Desmond.
Yeah, 2 breaks a throw, followed by 2 holds. Nicely poised.
5th leg, Scott to throw first. Game
Interesting, going back to that British Open, Luke Little made the quarterfinals as a 14-year-old. He lost to Dave Prince 4-3.
Well, in this year's
140.
UK Open, he was only just edged out by Adam Gavlas, who had an incredible run to the semi-final, didn't he?
As for James Hurrell, things just beginning to slip beneath his fingers a little bit. That's a good find with the last dart. We've seen spells from James, haven't we, over the course of the week? We've seen some ton-plus averages from him, but it's never truly felt like he's been settled on the stage this week. He's not been the full pelt James we're used to seeing here.
Yeah, he's just not looked comfortable for long periods.
140.
As he piles in at 140.
Of course. You know the coup.
So usually they don't like it when we start saying bad things about him, but it turns out this week they probably do, because then they do good things.
58.
Well, here though, with the opportunity of a couple of trebles, just to make this leg a bit interesting. big fifth leg, key passage to play this. And he conjures up those couple of trebles that he so desired. He's himself on 155 to break the throw and lead 3-2.
$100. James require 155.
This would be game-changing. But he's not going to find the treble 19, and so Marsh
99.
looking for his second 120 finish of the match to put himself a leg away. Treble. Single. Double. He's climbed the ladder again.
His second 120 out.
Six-leg James to throw first.
His second consecutive hold of throw. Just when James Hurrell may have felt that he could start to take some kind of grasp on the match, 54. He was sat waiting on 56.
This is one thing at his best he's able to do is find 95. Big scores at big times, find something special when he needs to. His timing and clutchness of things, Scott Marsh. That's who's superb. And we go back to that British Open final against Connor Scott. He put 100. In 3 big legs when he needed to in that final, when his back was against the wall. Connor, who had done so much here in the previous venue in Southampton, was a real asset 40. To us.
Well, he was one of the ones that was absolutely no shock who went on to get his tour card. He was punching in some outstanding numbers with regularity 30. Down in the live league, as it was then in Southampton, in the room.
Well, so much so was his reputation built here that at the WDF World Championship at Lakeside last April, he was installed as the 8-1 bookmaker's favourite.
124.
And maybe that was just a tag a little bit too soon for Connor, as he lost out in the first round to Sean Burt, as Hurrell looks to put on a spurt.
140.
140. I was going to say would make things, well, even now if he hits 2 trebles, he's got a choice to make. Seems to like it up there.
85.
Hurrell looking to set up from 177 and hope that Marsh hasn't got some kind of haymaker blow to finish the game off. Can he crunch one in the middle?
45.
Drifts wide.
Squad require 100.
This to put him onto 8 points and to really put him on the cusp. Hurrell is going to get a go at the champagne finish.
43. James, you require
132. Ball, double 16. The reason the players go that way is because the insurance of the 25 94. That would leave 107s to treble 19 and ball. He's left it a little awkward on double 19.
40. James, you require 38.
This to send us all the way to a last leg decider, double 19. And we go all the way to a last leg decider. A big leg ensuing. A win for James Hurrell would mean that there'd be a three-way tie on 6 points, a
Seventh and
possibility
final
for a
leg, Scott,
four-way
to
with
Hurrell
Furness to
first.
come.
Game on.
Marsh takes this with throw. He takes command of the group on 8 points.
$100.
Marsh kicks off ton.
Sure, he'd take 4 tons and a 101 out. The red pen leg.
140.
The red pen leg that may see him in the red in terms of qualification. Been a while since we've seen Scott here, and it looks as if he's looking to make up on lost time.
60. $43. $45.
But that is a slip that could open the door for Hurrell.
Well, pretty much. Got the darts, hasn't he? What he does with them.
140.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Well, he's effectively stolen the darts now. Marsh needs something big by way of reply. But we've spoken about the timing of this man.
$125.
Yeah, you can see he's a little fed up because that big 5 meant he couldn't leave a finish. All right, continues to pile on the pressure with his second 140 off the leg.
Averaging a shade under 92.
Sorry,
and
that was his third 140, wasn't it? It was the 43 in between.
And just a shade under 92. 42% when it's come to the doubling. This has been a real good performance out the gate for James Hurrell.
Well, he's been made to graft and grind, hasn't he?
James Iroquois, 38.
And with Marsh lurking on 82, he's being made to work all the way towards the finishing line. 88 to complete the job.
30.
And the job isn't quite done. And it may be job done
82.
as far as qualification's concerned, because this would be a big hit for the Hillbilly if Marsh can take out this 82. The ball found. Double 16 for the match.
Game shot.
And Marsh is clear at the top of the table. He gets the better of James Hurrell by 4 legs to 3, who had 2 darts to win the match, one at double 19 and one at double 8. But it is Scott Marsh with 2 120 trek outs who wins by 4 legs to 3 and puts him onto 8 points in the group. Coming up after this break, Ryan Furness is in action against the 4-3 man last night, Sean McDonald.
So Sean McDonald lost out in 3 last leg deciders before picking up his first win last night, but performance-wise was impressive all night. Can he turn performances into points this evening, or can Ryan Furness record his first win of the session? Let's get back to Henry and Chris to see how this one unfolds.
Thank you very much, Abby. Yeah, Sean McDonald must have felt as if he stepped under some kind of ladder, ran over some kind of black cat, and then smashed a couple of mirrors on his way into the live lounge last night, because he was absolutely luckless. Usually when we see players on 2 points, it's because they've been hapless. It was the complete opposite case as far as Sean McDonald was concerned. And if it wasn't for 3 legs, we could be talking about him going through on 10 points right now. Such was the night that he had on Thursday.
Yeah, well, you look at the players above him, and their leg difference is far superior.
First leg, Ryan.
And he's at the foot of the table, 2 points, and only -2 in the leg difference. He had some night of it, did Sean McDonald. Lost his opening 3 games 4-3 before
96.
getting a 4-3 win over the man he faces here. Another player, a bit like
140.
Scott Marsh, who came into this week and this group a little rusty. Far from match sharp.
97.
So much so to the point where there's only one WDF event to his name in 2023. That's the Denmark Open. He lost out in that one in the round of 64. And he said yesterday before play got underway that he hasn't played a competitive match since his last appearance here in Series 4. Although to qualify for Lakeside this year, he had to go for the last gasp qualifier. And he beat John Norman Jr. in the last leg, decided by 6 legs to 5. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall after that particular match.
Super opening leg.
Sean, you require 46.
140, 180, 135, double 16 for an 11.
Game, Sean, first leg, Sean McDonald.
11 is heaven for Sean McDonald as he breaks the throw of Ryan Furness and leads by a leg to nil.
Sean to
the World Masters boys back in 2002, Sean McDonald. A glittering youth career, and then work and life circumstances just took over as it can do with people.
83.
21 years ago. Wow.
I was just coming out of nappies at that point.
100.
Well, it's the day of 9 Stars. It was just over 21 years ago that Taylor slammed in that memorable 9.
35.
5th leg of the match, wasn't it? 2-2 at the time?
Yep, it was Desmond.
60.
Actually didn't really play bad. Got absolutely pumped. 16-7. Was hovering around 100 throughout the match. That was decent numbers 20 odd year ago.
$121. $46.
He's himself on a finish, but Furness looking to leave it handy against the darts. I thought he'll do that.
Yeah, well in position.
140.
Instantly break back. 2 treble 20s, double 10. And he'll like the lie, so I don't expect tops. No. Rightly stayed there.
100. Ryan, you require 80.
Ooh. Now it's tops.
60. Sean, you require
Chance
40.
to break back has come and gone for Furness, and McDonald has got 3, and you don't expect him to miss.
Game shot
Doesn't miss. 2-0.
McDonald.
2 from 2 on the doubles, an average of 111.
Yeah, Furness averaging well over 90 and only
Third leg Ryan.
had one dart double and it came in that leg.
$59.
Another bird-themed shirt, of course. What kind of bird is that, Henry?
Looks like a toucan, but then mind you, two can play that game.
Correct.
$57.
And this would congeal things in the race for third place, and it would actually put James Hurrell down to the bottom of the grid. McDonald would move from bottom place to third.
96.
And a big game coming up next between Michels and Hurrell. Hurrell, you feel like, has to win that.
140.
Well, McDonald can convert this lead into a big win. He will have a nice cushion in terms of leg difference over those in 4th and 5th.
43.
Well, because the margin of defeats are 4-3, he was always going to give himself a bit of breathing room if he could find himself back on the winning drive. In fact,
55.
I know we're talking hypothetics here, but having lost those first 3 games 4-3, if he won his last match 4-0, he would have been on 2 points and a plus legs difference.
133. $60. Sean, you require 129.
Averaging 106, but it's just looking routine at the minute.
48 would have left 24. He's going to leave tops.
89. Ryan, you require 130.
130's got to go. Bull.
105.
Wow.
Sean,
Way
you
to
require
dart.
40.
Bang on the money. Just slightly lost the line to the right. Double 10. First dart, he's missed it a double. That's his second.
Game shot the
Five,
third
it's
leg.
double
Sean
5 for
McDonald.
3-0. And the double break.
Well, you could see in the background Ryan Furness shaking his head. He didn't expect to come back. There may have been a little glimmer of hope as McDonald went up to double 5, but that probably makes it even worse when you feel like you've got a bit of hope.
It really hurts when you've
45.
wired the ball to effectively find your way back into the match. And then you see your opponent
60.
find the double with the last dart. Just hurts even more.
Well, he's had a dart to win each of the last 2 legs as Ryan Furness. The Punisher is making up for lost time yesterday.
$83. $140.
Closing in now.
$140.
Just felt that every single juncture of this match, he's just had a step too much for Ryan, has Sean McDonald. Always just had that extra little bit. And he fired in a max to leave himself on tops after 12 to complete a 4-0 victory.
He's a very determined player, but he's really got the bit between his teeth this evening. Tops for 4-0. Double 10. Clips it.
20.
Twice.
The good news from his perspective is he's going to come back.
83. Sean, you require
A 4-0 win. And to start the charge for Sean McDonald.
Game, shot.
A 4-0 win it is.
McDonald.
And Sean McDonald's luck has changed on Friday, it seems, in the Super Series. A superb performance out the gate. A 98.56 average. 2 maxims to his name. 4 out of 9 when it came to the finishing. Ryan Furness had a couple of opportunities to win a couple of legs, but nothing to be for him. McDonald a 4-0 victor. And after the break, James Hurrell in desperate search of a win now against Michels.
Well, a superb win from McDonald in our last match has taken him from 5th up to 3rd in the Group B table. Michels returns to action next. He delivered a really clinical display last time out, didn't he? 4 out of 7 on the outer ring. He's up against James Hurrell, who'll be kicking himself having lost out in a decider last time out. Can he leapfrog McDonald with his first win of the night here? Let's get back to Mace and Henry to find out.
Sean McDonald, and here's a little snippet for you. Elaine Kearns has been in touch. That 2002 Masters Youth Boys you mentioned that Sean McDonald won was also, the girls was also won by a McDonald, a Lindsay McDonald, no relation. Thank you for that, Elaine.
First play, James to throw.
Power of the net.
Game on.
Is a good one.
That is an incredible stat. That could be stat of the year, you know.
$81.
Well, just having a look at what the odds compilers make of this particular clash, they have James Hurrell still as a 4-7 favourite. They're not backing against him one bit. Maybe because they're worried about getting their fingers burnt. And Michels, the 5-4 outsider. Just some thoughts on those odds.
Well,
60.
Moreno is a player that we've enjoyed this week. He's been the surprise package. I think he's playing with a lot of freedom and right on cue. Thanks for that, Moreno. Yeah, I think he's just playing with a lot of freedom, and he plays fearless. And there are players to mentally
97.
play.
$125. $174.
So 174 for Hurrell, leads him on 89 after 12 to take the opening leg on throw.
41. James, you require 89.
Didn't have to chase the bullseye with Michels, not on a finish.
100. James, you require 40. Game shot on the first
1-0
leg.
Hurrell,
James
16
Hurrell.
data, pinned on tops.
Much needed.
Like Moreno to
hold of throw just to
game on.
Try and get a bit of a foothold in a match and
100.
win one with very little fuss.
$44. $57. $100. $100. $100.
Seem to have a very similar pace, these two. Very measured.
60.
If you do want to get in touch with the show, you can direct into the comms box via the
100.
Twitter app or X, whatever you call it now, at MSS Darts.
100.
Any questions
Ginger
for myself or Henry?
157.
Fire one in.
Hurrell's not going to fire in the 157 for a 2-0 lead, and so Michels to
137.
level things up at 1-1.
Marino, you require 84. $36. James, you require 20. Game shot on the second
10
leg.
found for the
James
break.
Hurrell.
Hurrell leads 2-0, 17 data on that occasion.
And a breaker throw. Doesn't need one to win the
Third leg,
match, but
James to throw
I said he'd
first.
just like to win
Game
one
on.
fairly fuss-free. I have one question today, which was, why do they call it
59.
a ton plus finish? So a ton is 100, and if it's plus that, it's either 100 or 101, 102, all the way up to 170. I mean, I do like to expose the idiots. We've exposed a few this week. Well, they've done it themselves. Never argue with a fool, of course. But I suppose that's a genuine question. Well, we call them ton
123.
plus. It's either a ton or plus. Thought it was quite self-explanatory.
140.
You've been having quite the week, haven't you, Mace?
They just don't realise how much fun they bring me. And how much
60.
humour they bring to the commentary box.
$57.
We say that stars can sometimes make fights, but it can also lead to a little bit of edginess, which you just get the sense maybe is the case here in the third.
Well, Hurrell has to attack, of course, because of his table position. You almost feel like Michels is almost a little bit too defensive.
58. James require 125.
Almost trying to defend his table position rather than attack Scott Marsh's position in the table.
48. Marina require 150.
Well, he could begin anywhere. He begins upstairs. Hurrell 77 points away from a 3-0 lead,
77.
which would put him on the cusp of winning the match. Would put him to the cusp of 6 points.
37.
But that is a blot on the doubles, which could well be punished.
Yeah, an opportunity to break straight back. That leaves 42. That leaves 32.
76.
That leaves the door open for Hurrell.
40.
The barn door shut by the Hillbilly, who leads 3-0.
He's not particularly improved in terms of the metrics in this match. Started with a 16 darter, then a 17. That was a 19. There was an opportunity.
100.
Slim one on the back of the 92 for Moreno to get a foothold in the match. And we have seen comebacks this week from
60.
3-0 down.
However, James will argue it's not about performance now as long as he gets the points. It's just about finding whatever he can at this
30.
particular point of the group.
What are you up to tomorrow, Henry? Any football?
Brentford Crystal Palace tomorrow. And Sheffield United, Manchester City on Sunday.
59.
Nice work. Do you enjoy the comms on the football?
Good fun. Real good fun.
$100.
I suppose for you, it'd be a day at the gym on it tomorrow?
No, not been for a while now. Nursing a few injuries, pal.
140.
All self-inflicted. Although I am enjoying eating my body weight daily, which is good fun while it lasts.
99.
That's when the hard work really does then begin. Well, for Michels, the hard work begins here. But he has got a little bit of time in this leg, but could do with a treble, and exactly the case there with the last dart.
$100. Marino requires
Square ton leaves himself on a ton plus checkout. Tots of Michels to bring it back to 3-1. Clinical last dart in hand kill to get one back, but Hurrell has the darts here.
Yeah, he probably is ruining that double 16 in the leg before. Could be 2-2 and right in this one. As you know, myself and Charlotte have bought another pub, so that will be my week next week. I don't think I'll be needing the gym. I need a gym to give me a hand.
85. $81.
Been doing much on the practice board?
No. I have not picked up a dart since I lost to Leonard Gates.
100.
Well, it sounds
So
like
I literally am enjoying just working rather than doing anything else. I'd like to say I was counting my money, but unfortunately I've been spending it.
Well, Hurrell could have counted himself out the equation if he loses this match. He leaves himself on 60 points to win the match. He's going to get 2 at tots to complete the job and a potential 11 dart leg.
20.
He's not going to do it in 12. And Michels is on a finish after 9 himself.
96.
So for the match,
Hurrell
Hurrell wants tops for a 4-1 victory.
Game
And a 4-1 win it is for James Hurrell to move himself onto 6 points and to quickly get over the disappointment of the last leg decided defeat against Scott Marsh. A 90.19 average, only a couple of points off the 90.24 he had in the first game. 4 out of 8 on the doubles. Things looking a little bit more smooth for the hillbilly Marino Michels. That good start has just been undone. Right, next up, McDonald against Marsh.
Well, we asked before a dart had been thrown tonight whether Sean McDonald could turn performances into points tonight, and if his first display is anything to go by, the answer is an emphatic yes. A 98.5 average and 11 dart leg in there, en route to a 4-0 victory. Can he build on that here and become just the second player to beat Scott Marsh this week? Let's find out in the company of Chris and Henry.
Thank you very much, Abby. And for Scott Marsh, win, and he is in. The magical 10 points flash in front of his eyes, and a place in Saturday night is his eagerly awaited prize. For the man who supports the Eagles of Crystal Palace against the man from, well, up in Aberdeen.
Yeah, Scott Marsh just edged this one last night. In fact, Sean McDonald had more darts at a double than Marsh.
140.
Achieved just 3 from 8 visits at a double. Scott Marsh 4 from 7. The average is very similar.
Yeah, Scott won that just in the nick of time for free.
60.
Fair to say that that was a bit of a marathon match last night. 27 minutes all told.
Sean will be fairly buoyed by his performance last time out with that 4-0 win over Ryan. He averaged 98.56, as mentioned by Abby, where Scott had to really scrap against James Hurrell to just get over the line. All 3 with an 84.83. To back 140s from Shawnee Mack.
171.
It's a beauty.
He's come out to play tonight, hasn't he, Sean McDonald? I mean, like we mentioned at the beginning of his previous game, usually when you see players on 2 points after a first night, they haven't played well, but they may have scrapped a win over the line. It was the complete opposite in Sean McDonald's case.
Yeah, and usually they're at the foot of the table with just the 1 win. You'd expect them to be around sort of -4 or -5, maybe -6. Not so.
100. Sean, you require 131.
Actually on 4 points plus 2.
If he wins this game, he goes up to second place in the table. This game against Scott Marsh was his lowest average last night, the 84.83. That was the level he was playing at, and yet only got a couple of points for his efforts. And it was because players are doing magical things against him, a little bit like a 170. But Marsh isn't going to take that out on this particular occasion.
56.
So 74, Sean McDonald
74.
to take the opening leg on throw. $54 for double 10, and now 5s.
64. Scott, you require 114.
He produced 2 120 finishes in that 4-3 win over James Hurrell. Going to be a ton plus finish in this opening leg, though.
98. Sean, you require 10.
This for a 1-0 lead.
Game shot of the first leg.
1-0 to Sean McDonald. 16 dart leg, a granite leg from the granite darter.
Second leg, Scott to throw first. Game on. $100. $100.
This clash marks the halfway point of our action on a Friday night at the Super Series. And of mean that race to the finishing line would well and truly be on.
100.
You mentioned granite. Aberdeen famous, of course, when it's granite.
97.
The Granite City.
Correct, Amundo.
Football team play at the Pittodrie, famously managed by Sir Alex Ferguson, which won them a European Cup back in the 1980s before then going on to successfully manage Manchester United.
60.
Yeah, I suppose that's really the first indication he was going to be one of the greatest managers, taking that team to the title.
I think they beat, was it Real Madrid in the Cup Winners' Cup final in 1983?
82.
Of course, people forget the first British team to win the European Cup was Scottish Celtic back in 1967.
$140.
My earliest memory of a team doing well in Europe would have been Nottingham Forest.
Under Brian Clough.
Yes, under Cloughie.
Well, Marsh here looking for a red pen leg. 101 after 12. Level proceedings up, and he may have to take out the one-on-one because McDonald's left a similar size finish.
$61. Sean, you require 103.
There's an option here. Oh, he has a few options. He's coming down. 84.
$87. Scott, you require 40.
To level up at one apiece. Double 10. It's found for 1-1. And would it be a fair assessment of the evening so far to say that what we've seen from the players has been very solid? We've not seen anything poor, but we haven't seen anything yet to really lift us out of our seats.
Well, I thought Sean McDonald last time out, which is the best performance so far with that 98.56, was very tidy. We had a 98.79 from Scott Marsh last night in the opening game. We had a 99.23 from Sean McDonald as well. In terms of numbers, he's been the man producing the bigger averages with more regularity, which made it even more bizarre that
96
he was at the foot of the table.
Remember, the three players going through tonight are going to join what is already a heavyweight finals night field.
83.
John Henderson, who in 3 weeks of competition, the previous 2 have been won by the player who won Group A. Matt Clark in week 1, Darryl Pilgrim in week 2. So Henderson looking to make it a hat-trick and to banish the Group A curse. And he is going to be joined by Scott Baker and the history maker, Fallon Sherrock.
122.
Yeah, John Henderson was dominant in the end. Started off fairly sedately on the Monday. Went through the gears with a couple of big ton plus averages on the Tuesday. And then just
98.
cemented his position
142.
as the dominant force in Group A on Wednesday.
Got time here, McDonald, with Marsh back on 180. 117 may well be the play.
84.
Fallon and Scott Baker and Marco Cantala just sort of traded places, didn't they? There's definitely group separation in Group C. Here's Baker and Fallon joining Henderson. And 3 of these 5.
Well, that Group C felt like a game of pass to pass, so we just didn't know where it was going to stop.
Sean, you require 58.
And this Group B seemingly has a similar feeling. And McDonald is playing himself into proceedings. 2-1.
He's backing up that performance a little earlier. He's ran similar kind of numbers at the moment, averaging 97. That was a 15-dart hold. It's keeping the pressure on Scott Marsh.
96.
Man will be at this stage to try and force a mistake out of him. And try and get over the line 4-1. That would be a real bonus.
Maximum to start for Sean McDonald, and for all the clamour and the glory that Fallon Sherrock had earlier on this afternoon, little should we forget that Sean McDonald missed double 12 for a 9-darter yesterday.
Yep.
We've been a bit greedy if we asked for 2 in one day.
40.
Maybe a little bit too greedy.
60.
A little bit like having wedding cake. One slice is fantastic. Sometimes when you have two, it could be a little bit too much.
$133.
Well, Marsh sets himself up on the champagne finish. McDonald looking to set things up here. That first dart is quite okay, guy, but he goes downstairs.
131.
Races back up, takes advantage of the marker.
Treble 19 would have left the bullseye, and so McDonald is going to be left with a similar ranged finish to break the throw and to lead by 3 legs to 1.
88. Sean, you require 130.
Wants the ball.
105.
And he gave it a good old scare. You may have to survive a scare from Scott Marsh. 4 tops.
Game
Double 10 is a friend, and it is 2 apiece once again between this pair.
Trading holds of throw. Both in
on to throw first.
15 darts, 5 visits.
As he reached the halfway point, it's been a high-quality contest so far. John McDonald averaging 101.5. That now rises to over 102. Scott Marsh just under 95.5.
Does feel like Marsh is just holding on though, doesn't it?
Been doing enough to keep him in and around, hasn't he? But you sense that if McDonald plays towards this level, he's just going to have to find something a little bit more out of the ordinary.
Well, that kind of average, Marsh is going to have to produce a 12.
58.
Which is not out of his reckoning whatsoever. And this is the thing about Scott. He's got gears to his game. And I think maybe because we haven't seen him here for so long, people maybe played down his chances. The bookmakers definitely played down his chances.
We certainly didn't.
$60.
Some people were brave enough to call him an unknown quantity. If unknown is winning the British Open, then I'd like to know what is.
Just the second oldest current tournament.
81.
Well, actually, it's the oldest current tournament. World Masters very much on hold nowadays.
60.
Yeah, the 2023 competition is not to take place. There will be a deferral moving forward. We'll focus from their perspective. The WDF is on the Lakeside Championship in December.
Yeah, rightly so. They have to get that right.
85.
An event that both of these players will be participating in.
Quite sure how the rule works, but they may meet each other
100.
in round one.
Scott
Who knows?
154.
Well, this would be a big moment, a tide-turning moment. We said he needed to do something a little bit out the ordinary, but it's not going to happen on this occasion.
Certainly seen there's still an appetite for darts outside of
74.
the elite PDC
On your required
televised
98.
coverage. Seniors Champions of Champions attracted staggering numbers, didn't it?
74.
3.4 million views.
Scott, your required
What's Marsh's view on the 80? Is it a bird's eye view to tops again because he's been so good on that target in this match?
Oof. I think he'd be better off with a bounce out than finding the one. At least he could have gone tops. Now, he has a decision. Treble 13 for tops, maybe.
And Marsh with a sensed opportunity there, and he hasn't been able to get many against McDonald against the darts.
24.
You may not get another chance. You don't
Games on
expect
the
another
fifth leg,
chance against the
Sean
Punisher.
McDonald.
There's a reason why they call him that.
Certainly punished Scott Marsh there, didn't he?
6 leg Scott to throw first. Game on.
So Marsh with the darts to stay in the match. Yeah, 3.4 million viewers that
100.
event got.
Yeah, that's incredible. Not particularly known, of course, for even broadcasting darts or sport, really. I mean, they do have a boxing contract with Wasserman.
57.
But yeah, that was a route I was surprised that may not have been followed up for darts.
Yeah, Champion of Champions is back at Viva Blackpool next year. If you head over to the seniors Twitter feed, there is more
100.
information on that as well.
Is it back on Channel 5? I would have thought so with those numbers.
The next big one is the match play at the York Barbican on the 2nd and 3rd of September. Tickets are still available for that.
60.
Yeah, they've been going very well, though, which is great news. Heard that today. Very pleasing. It is a wonderfully historic sporting venue. Another brilliant venue for darts.
Talking about venues, you can join us here at our live lounge venue in Portsmouth every single Saturday evening. Just scan that QR code. It sends you to a website called dartshop.tv where you can purchase your tickets for every single Saturday night until November here at the live lounge. Now, the Champions Week finals night is on Saturday, November the 4th. If you want to see who we crown as the Series 5 champion, and any week before, if you fancy a night out at the darts, £2 the booking fee. The tickets are absolutely free. And even better, we have a little bit of a Brucey bonus deal for you. Free drinks for £10.
Nice. It's nearly firework night, and it's almost
45.
guaranteed to be fireworks on that finals night. Our last one of the year, of course.
I take it the council aren't going to give us planning permission to have a load of
58.
Catherine wheels fired off the top of the building after the finals night.
No, we don't need any fireworks close to this building. A lot of wood. If you don't have the facility to scan that code, don't forget, as Henry said, head over to
105.
www.dartshop.tv. Tickets for all the seniors events and all the Saturday nights available there, and Well, exhibitions up and down the country. Some brilliant ones as well on the horizon.
57. Scott require
This
96.
is to send us to leg 7 for the second time tonight. And ironically, McDonald wasn't involved in the previous one. It was Scott Marsh against James Hurrell. And he's going to get a couple in hand here. A double 18 to move us to a tie-break situation.
78.
Inside on the double 18. And so McDonald back for the match and a 4-2 win if he can take out the 1-2-9. Treble. Would have left the ball and you would have fancied him for it as well.
89.
Case in point.
Scott require 18.
Well, it's a must hit. Double 9. Now he's got to be careful. Just changes the line. That's a super dart. Scott Marsh. Really was a greatly measured arrow.
7th and final leg, Sean, to
the decider.
Game
Just
on.
about right for me.
Yeah.
Just deserved the last leg shootout.
These two are so evenly matched, so evenly poised, but moments like that could well turn the tide one way or t'other. McDonald kicking off with a max, puts it under Marsh. Remember, a victory for the Martian sends him shuttling through to Saturday night's finale.
136. $59.
Well, that dry visit there on the back of a 136 to start for Marsh means that a surmountable visit here, 2 trebles, would potentially swing the tungsten tide. The first start isn't the world's worst for Scott, and that's why. Because it sits just below, but has a bit of a kick up. He can plonk one on top, but then the second one became a clatterer for the third.
Well, despite the max from McDonald.
171.
Sorry, 180, 59, 171, 91 after 9 in the decider.
You were saying despite the max?
Well, there was, up until that point, there was literally little in it.
95.
Well, this is to round it off in some style. Sean McDonald, who averaged 98.5 in his first game against Ryan Furness, averaging 96 here, and has got 2 darts in hand at tops, and now staring down double 10.
86.
But that's wild, and that may well open the door for Scott Marsh.
170.
Because if this big fish doesn't go, McDonald is chasing either 2s or 1s. But that's saying Marsh can't take the fish out for the match to send him through.
Well, the way Shawnee Mack's campaign has gone, I was beginning to think to myself, oh no, it's going to go.
90. Sean, you require 5.
It's double 2. It's victory for Sean McDonald with a 14-dart leg by 4 legs to 3. And it moves him into second place in the table. Remember, he was bottom of the pile at the beginning of the night. But back-to-back performances where he's averaged high in the 90s means that he has put himself in a real good position to qualify. It's a congealed and congested group here in Group B. And we're halfway through the night, and we are none the wiser. Coming up after the break, Ryan Furness against James Hurrell.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where Sean McDonald has just made it 2 wins from 2 on the second night of Group B action. We asked the question at the top of the show, can he turn performances into points? He's certainly doing that at the moment.
Yeah, and he'll still probably feel a little aggrieved with last night's sort of proceedings, losing 3 games by just the odd leg while he's been pushed hard tonight. But fortunately for him, he has converted those performances into points, and he's right in the mix.
Yeah, here are the results that we have seen so far this evening. Of course, the evening got underway with Michels picking up a 4-1 victory over Ryan Furness. Furness in action next, of course, just the 1 leg to his name so far. Where do you think it's gone wrong for him tonight?
I think his opponents. I thought Moreno was very, very good against him, and to be honest, Shawnee Mack was rock solid, wasn't he? He was around the nearing 100 average in that one, so very little he could have done. And the problem for me is James Hurrell looks in good nick as well tonight. Yeah,
and for Sean, we can have a look at the table. He now moves up to second with those 2 victories. His leg difference looks incredibly healthy as well. He was joking, wasn't he, before the action got underway tonight, telling us, oh, I'm going to play a bit faster for you this evening. Whatever he is doing is working very, very well. Do you see him qualifying for finals night from here?
I think he's got to be right in the mix. All the players, of course, with 2 matches to go, so 4 points available. I think if Shawnee Mack in his next game out picks up a win, he's going to be there or thereabouts. I think for Hurrell and Furness, their problem is that leg difference. That may catch him out.
Absolutely. Well, we can take a little break from this week's action just to take a look at next week's players, because what an incredible lineup we have for you in Group A. One of the best Group A's, I think it's fair to say, that we've ever seen here at the MODUS Super Series. We have the runner-up from the last Champions Week in Colin Osborne, the man he beat in the semi-finals in Steve West, and the first ever champion here at the Live Lounge. Who are you most looking forward to seeing?
All of them, to be honest. I think outside of a Champions Week, that has to be one of the strongest Group A's we've ever seen, and they all bring something. We've got the speed of Johnny Haynes and the unpredictability, and of course Steve West last time out here went so close, but gave us a 9-darter, and well, we had another one today. Well, we nearly had another one yesterday from Sean McDonald, of course.
Yeah, and Dan Reid looks like he's getting closer and closer to winning a week, doesn't he?
Yeah, I rate Dan Reid. I think he's one to look for in the future. I've seen him when he's been absolutely on it. I don't think he has that much confidence in his own ability, but he should do, because he's a fine player.
And back to tonight's action. Next up, we've got Furness taking on Hurrell. Who do you see picking up the points in this one?
The way Hurrell's been playing, it'd be hard to back against him, and Furness, nothing's quite worked out for him, but we know how quick this can turn around. Only a race to 4, anything could happen, but if you put my neck on the line, I'll probably go Hurrell.
Right then, let's see if this man is correct and hand back to Henry Deacon to guide you through the action.
Thank you very much, Abby. Well, let's see whether Mystic Mace is 100% correct then, as Furness and Hurrell go toe-to-toe here on the stage at the Super Series. The stage that both players are so, well, comfortable with, so good on. One where they usually make the Saturday night occasion. James Hurrell's only failed to make it once in his Super Series career, whilst Ryan Furness was involved in a first involving 9 darts. That was the first televised 9-dart shootout involving 3 players.
Game on.
As Danny McNamara calls game on and calls Ryan Furness to the hockey. As far as what the odds compilers are saying in this one, Furness goes off as the outside about 11 to 10. They stick with James Hurrell at 4 to 6, and interestingly will do so as well against Sean McDonald later on. They lay him at 4 to 9 and McDonald at 13 to 8 as Hurrell kicks this one off with a max against the throw.
81.
And perhaps it'd be fitting that her county teammate Fallon Sherrock hit a 9 today. Hurrell is not going to follow in kind. But any 9-darter that we ask for between now and the end of the session is just pure greed.
Oh. 60.
Abby, put me under it. Who do you fancy for this one?
I'm going to go Hurrell just. I've seen enough in his level of performance to say that he'll just have a little bit too much for Ryan. You're looking at 2 players who for the night, Ryan Furness is averaging mid-80s. McDonald bang on 90, and it's been good when it's come to the doubling. He was 33% against Scott Marsh and 50% against Michels, and that may just well win out the day.
136.
Yeah, Hurrell averaging over 90 for the night.
100.
And 36 after 12 in the opening leg here.
60. James, you require 36.
So, double 18 after 12.
Game shot on the
For
first
1-0
leg,
lead and a
James
break of
Hurrell.
throw for James Hurrell.
What a win for Hurrell.
Second leg,
And
James to throw first. Game on.
he will be in second spot and sitting pretty.
100. 93.
And this is all after a positive start for Ryan Furness, where he won each of his opening 2 fixtures in the group, but he hasn't won a game since.
100.
Never really looks settled.
Which is really uncharacteristic of him.
134.
But as he said, he hasn't played too much outside of here. He's in a similar boat to Sean McDonald in that respect. And we were mentioning this
100.
earlier, weren't we? It doesn't matter what sport you are. When you're a pro, the challenge needs to be against each other. The challenge has to be by way of competition. So if you don't get it that much, you can't train the mind what it's like to be in those specific scenarios.
Absolutely.
And Hurrell here,
He's
going a little bit berserk. He's averaging 111. He's left 71 after 12 on the back of a 13 in the previous leg.
60. James, you require 71.
The 2-0 in a flash of an eye.
Tops.
31.
It was nearly blinking,
Ryan,
you'd miss it from the hillbilly.
116.
Furness 116. Saints needs to go. And he's going to get a go.
98.
But he can't find the double 18.
James, you
Just on
require
the
40.
inside wire. Nice to see the dart aggressively thrown at the target. But it is
On the second leg, James Hurrell.
Hurrell who doubles his lead. 13 and 16 darts.
Third leg, Ryan to throw first. $100. $41.
Well, that slips opened up the door for Furness.
$100. $60. $121.
Maxi for James.
Yeah, perfectly timed because it gets him back into the leg.
100.
Well, he's 80 points away from reducing the deficit to 2-1.
100. All right, you require 80.
He's gone for tops again. It's a fairly safe dart at tops.
40.
Can
You
Hurrell
require 120.
find the 120. Marsh has showed him how to hit this. He hit it 12. Double 10.
110. Ryan, you require 40.
And he went the other way for it. Tops for
Furness.
Furness. 2-1.
16 darter.
Fourth leg James to throw first.
A lot of time, Henry, trying to work out the modern world. How do you get a group of people that are nameless, that spend their days in a tiny little clique abusing, with vile abuse of players in a sport they're meant to enjoy, yet they get one little bit back and they cry. So humorous. I love it. That's social media for, I suppose, isn't it? It gives you a
100.
Gives you that ability to remain anonymous. Do you think that's something that needs to change going forward?
I feel like I'm in the middle of politics hour here with Chris Mason.
You know I don't do politics, pal.
60.
Let's just all be nicer. I'm going to play the diplomat here.
Absolutely.
60.
Easier to be nice than horrible, isn't it? Maybe start a campaign. Be nice, not nasty.
140.
Well, this has been a nice leg for Hurrell, leaving 61 after 12 for a 3-1 lead.
43. James, you requires 61.
Top's just above, but he has got time.
$105.
Like the analogy about bees, isn't it? They won't sting you if you leave them around. They're quite harmless. But then you go over, you upset the nest, get stung, and then all of a sudden bees are horrible.
Game shot on the fourth leg, James.
Weird, isn't it?
Fifth leg Ryan to throw first. Game on.
I suppose you could refer to them as wasps. They're pretty useless as well, aren't they? Unlike bees, which actually serve a purpose.
60.
3-1 Hurrell. Pretty much. It wouldn't actually cement his place, but
78.
Pretty much put one foot in the door, wouldn't it, into tomorrow's final, a win here.
Yeah, because McDonald and Michels both have 2 games to go in the group. However, they do face off against each other in the next match.
Yeah, only one of them could potentially get to 10 points, which we often refer to as the
100.
magic number in Group B.
Well, if Michels wins that match against
97
McDonald, then there's then it'll go down to Hurrell against McDonald next up.
Yeah, this is going to go down to the wire.
Not really needed the abacus that much this week, but we might do tonight.
96.
You found the duster for that somewhere under the desk.
Yeah, it's about somewhere.
56.
The one thing we don't need to calculate is the convincing nature that James Hurrell is going about things at the minute. An average just under 96, leading 3-1.
60.
But only a 60. He leaves himself on a finish, but Furness can open up a bit of leeway with a big score.
100. James require 167.
So this is to complete the job. 167 isn't going to go. And so Furness comes back looking at 146 to
59.
Extend this game just a little while longer. And that's not going to go. And so Hurrell comes back in weight for 108 to complete a 4-1 victory.
110. James require 108.
Which way will he go? Old school. Sure is. May go treble 16 because the treble 20 is blocked out. Come out of his hand, he'd have thought, ooh, that's close.
56. Run your wire.
And a couple
36.
of blots on double 18 in this game, Ryan Furness. No mistake this time,
Ryan
3-2.
Furness.
And he forces James Hurrell here to serve it out.
He just won't go away, will he?
6-leg James to throw first. Game on.
In terms of averages, Hurrell 11 points in front in that department. Is it 2 180s, 2 140s, 10 scores of between a ton and 139.
26.
Ryan Furness yet to register a 140.
You were saying?
140.
Called it in, pal. Called it in.
$45. 45.
Now, defeat here for Furness would confirm his elimination.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember, he was top of the group at the halfway point of yesterday, having won each of his opening 2, and it's been a case of 5 in a row in the wrong column for him ever
59.
since. 4 consecutively. This would be his 5th defeat on the spin if he loses to Hurrell.
100.
Hope you're enjoying the coverage wherever you're tuning in. Maybe time for a midnight snack or two.
95.
Yeah, maybe a cup of cocoa.
On a Friday night.
Ah, that's true.
125.
You can tell his frustration with the last dart there. He's left himself on a makeable finish on the 106, but look at what Furness is going to leave by way of reply against the darts.
130. James Require 106.
Got a pop at the 108, didn't he? Well, at least this time. Going to get a double to win it. And the double is double 18, and it lands, and James Hurrell does pick up the spoils in this one. 4 legs to 2, an average of 90.12. That seems to be the metric number for him this evening. Couple of 180s in there. Some tidy finishing, 4 from 9, and especially tidy to get over the line with the 106. Up next, it's Sean McDonald against Michels.
And a very warm welcome back to the Super Series, where Ryan Furness has been eliminated from proceedings after a 4-2 defeat to James Hurrell before the break. Next up for us, it is Sean McDonald up against Moreno Michels.
Yeah, Sean McDonald win would see him end his campaign on 8 points. No, my apologies. Of course, he's got one more to play, hasn't he? Because he was the late starter. He plays 2 of the final 3.
Leg Sean to throw first.
Starting with this one.
Game on.
So yeah, he of course is one of the players that can still get to that magical 10-point number. Not that he may need to. Scott Marsh against Ryan Furness up next. The win would see Scott Marsh reach 10.
121.
This is, though, Moreno Michels' final game, isn't it? So he would stay on 6 points.
Well, that'd be it, if he done.
And that would be... No, he has got one more, hasn't he? Of course, we are being tricked by the live scoreboard.
100.
Shawnee Mack again. Finding the max.
140.
And then backing up. Scores in this leg of 121, 180, 140, leaving 60 after 9. And on for a potential 11-dart leg to begin.
Yeah, not for the first time this evening.
It's Tots and McDonald. He's got time on double 10.
40.
He's going to need it. Both players, well, the bookies couldn't split them 5 to 6 each of 2.
100. Sean, you require
McDonald
20.
wanting double 10 to take the opener. Gets there the 4th time of asking.
Sean McDonald.
Very solid 14-darter to get proceedings underway.
To throw first. Game on.
So far this evening, a 4-0 win over Ryan Furness for
55.
Sean McDonald. A 4-1 win for Moreno against Ryan Furness. And Hurrell took care of Moreno 4-1.
140.
Johnny Matt just got the better of Scott Marsh 4-3.
$60. $140. 140. $87. 97. Sean, you require 134.
Should be trouble 20.
58. Moreno, you require 149.
It may well just be a moment of magic to help Michels out here. The 149 isn't going to go, and so McDonald comes back looking
97.
for 76 to a 2-0 lead.
76.
Doesn't have to move.
Game.
And that's why had a clear line in on tops. 14-darter leg 1. 15 leg 2.
Third leg Sean to throw first. Game on.
finds synonyms for consistent. And he is the type of player, and look, his form in Southampton has shown that he's more than capable of winning weeks here. And he's the type of player, and look, other players have taken headlines over the last couple of days, but he could be the type of player, Sean McDonald, that could qualify through, go severely under the radar, and pick up what they've all come for, and that's the check.
Well, 10 mil the other way, and he'd have made headlines last night, wouldn't he? Because that's how far away he was off from hitting a 9 of his own.
$43.
Yeah, Sean McDonald could have had a 9, but he missed double 12.
Put the coffee down. What's in it? Have you got brandy in your coffee? Come on.
100.
Been a day where the mind has boggled a fair bit. He actually walks on to that.
134.
Oh. What was it?
Oh, McDonald has a farm.
Oh.
100. Sean, you require 156.
156 for a 3-0 lead, which would edge him, well, to the top of the table as things stand. Remember, he was at the bottom at the beginning of the night. 80-1, Sean McDonald was to win this group at the beginning of the night.
80. Sean, you require 56.
Goodness me, if someone's laid on that.
Well, even if they had just a couple of pounds. Very nice little return.
Game Sean the third leg, Sean McDonald.
And he's only one leg away from winning this one.
Fourth leg, Marino to throw first.
Well, it is a big mountain to climb now for Michels.
60. $131. $140.
Don't forget that the qualifiers will go through to tomorrow night's
84.
finals, which will be live from 7:30 p.m. on the Super Series YouTube channel. Before then, we go live
100.
on Sporty Stuff TV from 10 p.m. He was going to pick up a televised trophy.
Yeah, we will
77.
play the 6-round robin games. The 3 from each of the 2 groups.
97.
And then the semi-finals and the final will not start before 10 p.m. when we join our friends at Sporty Stuff TV.
140. Marino, you require 104.
104 to keep himself in the match.
Single 16 leaves tops.
64. Sean, you
And
require
so McDonald
69.
to get over the line and to put himself top of the group. He was at the bottom of the table. He lost his first 3 games, all by a margin of 4-3. And double 12 for the most convincing 4-0 of victories. 60 darts for Sean McDonald to get the job done. That is picture-perfect consistency for the Punisher. 4 out of 7 on the finishing, 100.2 the end average. And the man who started the night at the bottom of the table now finds himself at the summit. But for how much longer? Because Scott Marsh is in action after the break against Ryan Furness.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. Sean McDonald's fortunes have changed drastically today, haven't they? He's now 3 wins from 3, and the 80-1 outsider to top the group at the start of the night is now sat at the summit. His best performance of the night last time out, with a ton average to complete his second whitewash win of the evening. How long will he stay at the top of the table? We're about to find out, because Scott Marsh could return there with a victory. He's taken on Ryan Furness, so let's hand back to our commentary team.
Thank you very much, Abby. So, game 8 of the night as Scott Marsh takes on Ryan Furness. And we're going to be bidding farewell to our friend from Salisbury following the conclusion of this one. Furness, a regular fixture since the Southampton days here at the Super Series, and has had many a success and many a progress through to a Saturday night. But it's not going to be for him on this occasion. He takes on Scott Marsh, who will put himself onto 10 points with a win in this one.
Yeah, we've also seen him achieve many a big average as well.
80.
Ryan Furness, but just not clicked for him over the last couple of days. And he'll be aware that his race is run, and maybe he plays the role of spoiler. Pressure off, shackles off, shoulders open.
Well, that win 4-0 for Sean McDonald means that things are very rosy for Scott Marsh. He's got one more game to play after this,
57.
And the weight in terms of legs difference is 9 legs. Now, the maximum that can be portrayed in a round is 8, so 16 the maximum, but 9 legs clear of Marina Michels in 4th spot, even with a couple of defeats. Would put himself in a handy enough position. Win and he's in, and it's the simplest scenario in the book.
But the one thing we have seen from time to time with Marshy, his
45.
performance levels tend to drop off.
Sean McDonald is through because the margin of legs difference cannot be accrued for Michels and McDonald now. McDonald on +7 and Michels on -4. So by that same logic, the maximum that Michels can get to is 0. And Sean McDonald, by way of contrast, the best that he can get to is +3.
59.
Correct.
Marsh needs 3 legs in this match to qualify.
100.
But Furness looking to get the break in the opener.
$64. Ryan requires 76.
For a breaker throw. 1-0 lead. The 2 double 18s.
26.
He's made a bit of a pig's ear of that. Tried to go double 18 tops. He's going to be a little flamboyant.
60. Ryan, you require 50.
So for the opening leg, Furness goes 10 for tops to put himself on top and to lead 1-0 in 18 darts.
Second leg, Ryan to throw first. Game on. $95.
Max to start for Scott Marsh. We've been here before today.
100.
We've seen a perfect storm arise, but it's not going to happen again.
100. 96. $100.
So Furness, 210 points away from a 2-0 lead, but Marsh has left himself on a finish.
Now he needs a treble to leave a finish.
59. Scott require 121.
Well, this is for the break back.
Can't be done now. Single will leave tops.
81. Ryan, you require 150.
He made sure of the single, didn't he?
Shall we call that safe?
56. Scott
Tops to level. 1-1. 13 dart break for Scott Marsh. Quality leg.
Third leg, Scott to throw first. Game on.
As Ryan Furness does some juggling acts, so it doesn't matter what kind of magic he pulls out now. It's not going to be enough to send him through.
$85. 60.
Just having a look at our little spreadsheet here, Chris, and just having a look at the night in general, and we really have been lucky with some of the darts that we've seen. The lowest average 41 of the night so far is an 82.74.
Yeah, it's been a good standard.
93. $140. 94.
Well, have a look at that second dart. Look at how it's just piercing into the single one.
40.
Great overhead angle there just to demonstrate how loose that was in. It was almost a Berry Vampire moment there.
100.
A bit too late in the night for one of them, isn't it? Or at least the commentary wouldn't be boring.
$95. Ryan, your wire 154.
Thinking there. Scott Marsh. It's a two-darter. And he will be back for it for 2-1.
98. Scott, you require 100.
This would be for literally a ton topper.
Look how much of the treble 20 you can still see the advantage of using a stacking
90.
style.
Ryan, you require 56.
Tops of the break. Tops of 2-1. And Furness is in front. Marsh, remember, needing 3 legs to qualify. Furness halfway towards the finishing line, although this game effectively a dead rubber for him.
He's just playing the role of spoiler.
100.
Putting Scott Marsh through the ringer.
However, it is a shame that we're not going to see a Saturday night Furness special, because he usually does save a bit of a Bobby Dazzler for the Saturday night occasion here at the Super Series.
Yeah,
60.
and always brings a good crowd, doesn't he? Family and friends.
Very popular man. Very nice guy off the oche as well, is Ryan Furness.
140.
I've actually been blessed with a practice room full of nice people this week. Got Marsh, no matter what happens, is going to be back tomorrow. He's going to be taking on Sam Cromwell for the ADC English Belt Championship in the Undisputed Series.
81.
Best of 17 legs that encounter. There'll be a break after 10.
Money racers, of course, which is what effectively that is, was the staple of players back in the day. The 60s and the 70s.
160.
Big money matches took place up and down the country and in America. Boy George played Nicky Verashko for a vast sum of money back in the day.
They call it hustling in the States. They don't just do it in darts. Other sports do similar stuff as Furness looks for 3-1 on double 10.
That's more pull, that is, isn't it?
Furness.
It was a great film, wasn't it? Colour of Money.
I don't know whether you would have seen it, but there was a documentary involving Ronnie O'Sullivan, your old sparring partner, Matt Smith.
Yeah, it was a great documentary, wasn't it?
Although Ronnie O'Sullivan didn't quite get the grasp of AI technology, did he?
$85. 26.
So Furness a leg away. Marsh needed 3 to send himself through. And so, yes, he plays Michels in the final game. There'll be a nervous wait to see the outcome of Hurrell up against McDonald as well.
60.
We know that one moves on to 10 points. McDonald is safe.
$60.
Hurrell still teetering around the exit door. First dart sat plumb for the Martian, and that is why he is so unhappy with the second.
140.
But recovers well to find a 140.
$80.
See from that angle. Below horizontal, the angle of entry.
3.
Ooh.
$100.
So Marsh, 213 points away from 3-2, which would put him a leg away from qualification through to tomorrow night's finals. And it's going to be the double stint for him if that's the case. He'd go straight from the belt match into finals night.
137.
He looks at himself and thinks, well, why now? Why find the big scores now? But it may not be a case of too little, too late.
95. Scott requires 76.
76 for 3-2. Furness would then have the darts to see it out. And for Marsh, it's a dart
Game
at double top.
Scott Marsh.
And Furness has the throw to seal the job and to finish off his campaign with a win.
Throw first. Game on. $93.
Rescues the situation well with cover on the 18s.
Of course, if Furness wins this game, Sean McDonald beats James Hurrell. The 80-1 outsider to win the group at the start of the night would go on and win it.
96.
Great, isn't it? We said, expect the unexpected with this Group B. It could well play out just like that.
140.
Back to Marsh.
He's grafting, and he's grafting hard.
$98.
Well, they've all had to. No one's had it easy tonight, even in the 4-0 victories for Sean McDonald. He's come up against some sizable opposition, an 84.6 and an 88.5 from his opponents. He was just
41.
a step above.
Ryan Yogar 170.
Well, just getting some sad news. A man called
60.
Jürgen Volbracht, who used to be part of the PDC Europe logistics team, has sadly passed away. A massive friend to all the players, used to ferry the players all from airports and hotels to venues.
Ryan Yogar 110.
Rest in peace, pal. Thoughts and prayers with his family and friends.
78. Scott require 95.
A win here, it will throw the cat amongst the pigeons, won't it?
Well, this is to send him through. Goes the bullseye route so he can guarantee himself as Furness nods in the background. A dart at the bullseye. And that would have been
61.
enough. So Furness comes back
32.
to finish with a win. To finish on 6 points. And following a
Game
positive
shot,
start,
and
it was a
Ryan
mid-group wobble that paid for Ryan Furness in the end. But he rounds things off with a win. Getting the better of Scott Marsh by 4 legs to 2. 1 of 10 on the finishing and an average of 85.7. For Scott Marsh, he's still got to wait his fate as Hurrell and McDonald go toe-to-toe after this short break.
So then, confirmation of how things stand going into our penultimate fixture. Sean McDonald is through to finals night. If he wins this one, the 80-1 outsider will win the group for Hurrell. If he wins, he joins McDonald at finals night. Even getting a leg may be enough, depending how things unfold in our last match. I'm sure he'll want to keep it in his own hands, though, and get the job done here. To guide you through this one, let's get back to Mason H.
Thank you very much, Abby. And so to game 9 of 10. And for James Hubble and Sean McDonald, their final game of the group. Both will want to be in the Saturday night reckoning. Both will want to make their way through the Champions League. Neither player have done so before in the Super Series format.
Game on.
On the approachment of the 1-year anniversary of the move to the Live Lounge in Portsmouth, James Hull was here on the very first night.
60.
Throwing the very first dart was a certain Martin Adams against Diogo Portela. But a fair few thrown since then.
Yeah, sure.
140.
Well, I actually did see a stat of how many darts was thrown, and it's staggering. To see if I can dig that one out.
28.
Well, we saw one of the best legs and some of the best darts we've ever seen here earlier on today. Fallon Sherrock with more history.
177.
Another moment to put into the recollections and the sands of time. The first female televised 9-dart finish.
Yeah, another one on my
100.
ever-expanding list of televised 9s that I've been part of.
How many is it now, Chris?
I don't know. 7 or 8, and of course done them on the radio.
144.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's my third. That was.
The two previous been on Sporty then.
Sean, you require 40.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, this is for a televised 10-dart leg.
These are 2 bob in the Super Series, the 10s.
No score. $41. Sean, you require 40.
Well, this is for 13-dart breaker throw. Now double 10. And before you ask, the Super Series Revolution will be televised. I actually just seen a tweet from Chris Murphy. It's very tongue-in-cheek from him, where he's basically Googled the definition of televised. And the definition of televised is an adjective. It's transmitted by television.
$100.
I'll tell you one thing. The fact that Fallon qualified for Saturday night means that tickets are going to be sparse. There's still a couple available. Dartshot.tv, the place to go to get them. And if it's a little bit too late in the day to organise plans, then you can book a week in at the Super Series. You can pencil a date in. Tickets available until the end of Champions Week on November the 4th. Every single Saturday evening.
And televised from 10 o'clock.
Well, now we might be entering other realms of possibilities because McDonald is averaging 119.35. Maybe the madness of today is only just beginning. He's averaging 119 and he's missed 4 darts at a double. He's on for an 11. A potential 12 if he can find double 8.
79. 95.
You make the argument, despite everything else everybody else has done, if Sean McDonald plays to this level, possibly no one's going to stop him.
Game on the second leg.
The only thing that's been stopping him is a couple of misses at double, but despite that, he's got 2 legs done in 28 darts, and he's missed 6 darts at double in the process.
Could we see a couple of Scotsmen battling out in the final tomorrow?
59.
Well, it's an all-English affair at Champions Week so far in Series 3.
Also, we've got a good friend of Sean McDonald's
100.
playing next week. Scott Campbell, another one from Aberdeen, plays in the same team as John Henderson. My old pal Bob Taylor. It's actually Sean McDonald's old team. Lovely information again from Elaine Kearns. Thank you for the heads up there.
121.
Yeah, that Group A next week could be a little bit special.
Absolutely.
I thought I needed to get the throat lozenges out for tonight.
24.
James Hurrell starting to put himself in a bit of a vulnerable position here. Anything
100.
on Sean McDonald's mind is winning this game and winning it 4-0 by the looks of it.
100.
Well, this has been a really bad leg for Sean McDonald because he's not left to finish after 9. He really is regressing.
94.
Think he needs to sort something out.
$98. Sean, you require 86.
So 86 for a 3-0 lead. He's averaging 106.2 here.
$61.
This is the ball.
James, you require 120.
15 darter. And 3-0. Gets the treble. Oh, no. What could go wrong is going wrong for Hurrell.
Sean, you require 25.
And for McDonald, this could be 3-0 in front of his eyes.
2 8s.
9. James, you require 56.
2 of a leg here, because a defeat by the margin of 4-0 would move him on to -4 and would leave him very much on the trapdoor. This is tops. This is potentially a reprieve, and that's a sigh of relief for James Hurrell.
Yeah.
Fourth leg, Sean, to throw first.
Reaction.
Game on.
Was more of relief and a release of frustration. It's getting played off the oche.
81.
Still 20 points behind in the averages. 76 playing 96.
140.
Mainly dropped to the 9 missed darts at doubles from Sean McDonald.
Well, if McDonald took any of those opportunities, he would have been throwing for a third 4-0 victory of the night. And when you consider every game that he was involved in yesterday went the distance, he's changing everything. Changing pace, changing fortunes.
134.
I always think when a more sedate thrower is playing with a bit more tempo, it's ultimately a sign of confidence. He doesn't feel like he's got to give it the extra attention.
190.
Maximum for McDonald, his second of the match.
54. Sean, you require 140.
This is for 3-1.
Treble 18 would leave double 12.
80.
Well, he's left 60. All Hurrell can do is apply a bit of pressure and hope.
Well, he's not really doing much in terms of hitting, and now he's going to have to do a lot of praying.
Sean, you require 60.
That McDonald doesn't find his manner at tops.
Game shot on the fourth leg, Sean
But that was
McDonald.
academic thinking. He's won 3 legs in this game, Sean McDonald, and they've all been in 14 darts. And he's even had time to miss 9 darts at a double.
James to throw first. Game on.
Could have been some average had he not missed a double.
Oh, Dale Pilgrim would have been sweating it out a bit. The twice holder of the record average, as McDonald kicks off Max here. Remember, he missed double 12 for a 9 darter this time last night. And he is playing like an absolute dream.
55.
But he's not going to have the dream finish, at least not in this leg.
134. $140. $96.
So McDonald leaving himself on 91 for the match. And we'll put him to the top of the pile.
125. Sean, you require 91.
Be able to be caught. He started from the bottom. And he's
51.
nearly there.
James, you require 121.
Double 20.
$45.
It'd be
you require
a
40.
perfect 10 for Sean McDonald. Double 10. Well,
Game shot. And
we love
Sean
a
McDonald.
bit of symmetry, and it is the perfect 10. Hitting double 10 because he moves to 10 points and plus 10 on the leg difference, an end average of 99.56 for Sean McDonald. The 80 to, what was it, 80 to 1 outsider to win Group B has done just that. When we come back, it'll be the final game. Michels against Scott Marsh.
Hello and welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where this man alongside me has just gone from the bottom of the table at the start of this evening to finishing it at the top. The 80-1 outsider to win the group. Just sum up how pleased you are with the way you played tonight.
Obviously, I was delighted with how I got on. Do you know what? Last night was a bit harsh on me. I didn't play above the 90 average line, but I just felt like I probably deserved more than 2 points. But winning the last match last night was really important. Gave me momentum coming into tonight, and then obviously I've kicked on.
Yeah, we were saying at the top of the show that you must have been scratching your head wondering how on earth you came away from last night with only the 2 points. What was your mindset?
No, I think my forte is usually deciding legs, and I was disappointed at how I played in the deciding legs. That's why I lost 4-3 3 times. So that was on me, but I knew my game was there. I was the nearly man last night. And if I could just come in and start well tonight, I knew that if I could build on it, then I could play my way back into, top 3. But obviously we've done a bit better than that.
Absolutely. And coming into this week's section, we've not seen a great deal of you in 2023. Why is that?
You won't see a great deal of me because I play 1 weekend a month. That's what I've got. I tell you now, Abigail, I had a call with my 8-year-old boy, Murray, before I came here, and he said, Daddy, try your best, but I hope you get beat so you're home tomorrow. So that's what we're contending with here. He's going to be disappointed that I'm going to be a day late tomorrow, but there we go. That's what we're dealing with.
He may be happy if you go home with £5,000 in your pocket, though, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll be maybe have to book an October holiday or something to please the 2 boys, but yeah, there we are.
And look, you so narrowly missed out on finals night the last time we saw you here. You must be so confident that you can go all the way this time around.
I'm clever enough to know that darts every single day is different, right? So just because I've done that tonight doesn't mean that'll happen tomorrow. All I can control is my preparation. So I'll make sure my preparation tomorrow is bang on point to give my A game the best chance of coming out. And if it comes out, yeah, we've got a chance. But if it doesn't, then, well, that's okay.
And just finally, any aspects of your game that you feel need to be better tomorrow night?
Than tonight, no. If I play like that tonight, then, we'll be okay. But will we? We'll find out.
We certainly will. Right then, let's find out who is going to join this man in finals night and get our final match of the evening underway.
Yeah, thank you very much, Abby. Very interesting interview there with Sean McDonald. A lot to take away from that.
Yeah, very, very level-headed and very matter-of-fact, and certainly like to hear that from a player because ultimately he will give himself every opportunity to produce his best darts, and he's so right. Darts is very much on the day. The fine margins that we play within.
Throw first.
I mean,
Game on.
Some nights like last night, or should I say the night before, nothing can go right yet tonight. It's been all right on the night for Shawnee Mack. 4-0 win. 4-0 win over Furness. And he backed that up with the 4-3 win.
81.
Over Scott Marsh with a 94-29. Then popped in a 100.20 and then a 99.56. His numbers make great reading. And I'm with him. If he plays to that level tomorrow night across the board, he could well be the man to beat.
Quite possibly. One final game then to go. And we know that Scott Marsh is safe.
I could play. I mean, he only gets to play 1 weekend a month. I'd like to play that well if I played 8 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I don't know, could it be if he could play all the time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Although you say that, Mace, then you turn up here, you say, oh, I'm just a commentator, well, I'm not going to do anything, and then look what happened. Look what's happened there.
100.
Well, the scenario here, if
40.
Moreno wins 4-2 or better, he will take himself through
100
with Scott Marsh
Marino,
and put Hurrell out.
144.
Marsh is batting for Hurrell. Michels is looking for a ton topper. He's looking for double 12.
Game shot of the
Oh,
first leg,
yes.
Marino
And he
Michels.
knows the significance of that finish.
Scott Marsh waiting
Second
on
leg, Scott
tops.
to throw first. Game on. $59. $60.
What we do know is tomorrow is going to be a special night here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth.
Yep, great lineup. Looking forward to it.
You've got a new commentary colleague
60.
joining you tomorrow night.
Yes, looking forward to that as well. Laura Turner in comms tomorrow. Abby's off to do
140.
Cardiff against
Sheffield Wednesday.
You're back in the presentation role.
Yeah, it's been a while. I need to realise where the cameras are.
I've got two of them up there now.
140. $60.
Out of those we know are there, who's your current favourite?
98.
Well, I think Henderson would be just a smidge in front of
30.
McDonald on the way he's played this evening. You
144.
can't ignore the level of his play this evening. My experience, of course, is with John Henderson. But that could count for now on the night, as we know.
40.
So Marsh 104 points away from levelling proceedings up at 1 apiece.
41. Scott require 104.
We'll stay along that line. Michels is going to come back for the fish.
48. Marino
I know
require
is that
170.
Hendo's been keeping his eye in, which tells you all you need to know how seriously he's taking
134.
this week.
Scott require 56.
Well, he is the dictionary definition of the ultimate pro, is Hendo. Oh, that's not a nice dart, and he does not like that too much.
49 left. Gets the 9. Instead of having 2 at the double. Only gets the 1. He's burnt a dart.
Marino require 36.
And he's left himself vulnerable. Can Moreno dip his bread?
18.
No is the answer, and so Marsh
require
comes back
20.
for 1 apiece.
Game shown the
Level
second
we
leg,
are,
Scott
1-1.
Marsh.
Good news for James Hurrell thus far.
Third leg Marino to throw first. Game on.
James Hurrell, we're definitely cheering on Scott Marsh here.
140.
Remember, for Hurrell to be out, Moreno's got to win 4-2 or better.
43. 150.
back-to-back 140s to begin the leg. This is a proper performance thus far for Marina Michels. The only blot's been the previous darts a double in the previous leg. Took out the 144 in the first.
$60.
That was a bit weird.
80.
Yeah, just caught the flight before the point got anywhere near the dart. Went through a spell, did Scott Marsh, of playing a lot of soft tip darts.
Marina require 141.
Across Europe with plenty of success. Treble 10.
85.
That was where Thibaut Tricot started out.
Yep. Yeah, that part of France where he's from is all soft tip.
Got to be due a visit from the
29.
French touch very soon.
Marina require 56.
Yeah, would have thought so.
Game shot on
We
the third
can't, of
leg,
course,
Marina
divulge
Michels.
that information, but big news over the next couple of weeks of
Fourth leg, Scott to
some
throw
participants
first.
in
Game on.
this Series 5.
$48.
Only 48. Music to the ears of Moreno.
But can he take advantage? Good find there with the last dart. In running, they have Michels at 1-5 and Scott Marsh 10-3. Although the bookmakers' odds tonight have been made to look very academic. Scott Marsh was 2-7 to win the group and Sean McDonald was 80-1.
$58. $61. $60. $140.
It's battled back well in the leg.
85. Scott require 150.
Scott Marsh.
Another one of them. Would have left double 18.
$118. $100. Scott require 38.
That's the choice. Looks like he's going straight for it. Oh, he split.
Game shot of the fourth leg.
It's the right call. 2-2.
Fifth leg, Moreno to throw first.
Oh,
Game
Moreno at the point of no return. Has to win the next two.
140.
So, ton 40 to start for Michels.
$60.
Well, Michels now with a sizable advantage on throwing this fifth leg. Averaging 89.34 at this present moment in time.
57. 68. $58.
I always wonder if the players are aware. I haven't had any communication with the practice room.
48.
They do have the live table in front of them, so as they are able to work it out for themselves. Some prefer to know, some don't.
60.
Fallon actually didn't realise that she was through today.
Sometimes what you don't know don't hurt you.
$83. 100.
So 86 points away from holding, and then he would need a break.
$44. Right now you require 86.
So for a 3-2 lead.
Double 15.
34.
They looked edgy.
Very edgy. He knows what's happening.
Yeah, and rightly so.
Have a trouble here would hurt Michels even more.
$94. Right now you require 52.
3-2, and to put Hillbilly on the hill in terms of elimination.
Good guide, that.
Game shot on the fifth leg, Marino.
3-2, Michels.
Six leg Scott to throw first. Game on.
Well, here we go then. This is do or die. So this is the situation.
57.
As far as Michels is concerned.
96.
He's currently on 8 points -3, and also in terms of legs won, 20 legs. Hurrell, 8 points -3, 22 legs won. Now, if Michels wins this by 4 legs to 2, he'd move on to -2 on 8 points, and he would be into tomorrow night's final. If Marsh sent us all the way to a last leg decider, and Michels won 4-3, Michels would finish on 8 points -3, but 21 legs won. And that would mean that by the solitary leg on the second, well, the third metric that we determine player progression, Hurrell would be in.
59.
And this is an opportunity here for Michels, but it's becoming
81.
a desperate search. Well, this is effectively the one.
$59.
Well, he's got 6 for the match for tomorrow night.
85.
He's himself on 139, but what can Scott Marsh do from here? He's kind of undone the hard work of the
80.
first start with the second there.
You require 139.
So this, to put him in, to send him through for a date with Saturday
99.
night. The tops goes
Scott
just above.
108.
And so Marsh comes back for 3-3. And to help the Hillbilly.
88.
Drag just below. And so Michels
Marino, you require
to
40.
move through to tomorrow night's final. He wants double 10.
Game.
And it will be Moreno who makes the final show as he gets the better of Scott Marsh by 4-2. And it's going to be the Hillbilly James Hurrell that's going to miss out in the end. 4-2 victory for Moreno Michels against Scott Marsh rounds off the evening action. And from the 80-1 bottom place outsider to the top of the table, Sean McDonald is the player possibly to beat going into tomorrow night on what has been a historic day at the Super Series, as Fallon Sherrock became the first ever female player to hit a televised 9-dart finish. It's been a day of history here at the Live Lounge, and there's one final thing to do. Grab some analysis.
Yeah, really impressive from Moreno Michels. A few nerves there as he tried to get over the line. He knew the significance of that match, that's for certain. What aspects of his game were you best pleased with today?
I just think the way he just stuck in and held on. He was fully aware he had to win that, at least 4-2 or better. Well, sad for James Hurrell, obviously, because he's the unlucky loser in that scenario. But yeah, all credit to Moreno. He had to stick in. It was a real tough group. Went all the way down to the wire as we expected in a group that was this type.
Yeah, let's have a look then. Confirmation of tonight's results from our 10 games that have been played. Really interesting to see, actually, on James Hurrell's social media since his last match. He said, well, what a shame. I thought all I needed was the one leg. Must do better maths.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a blessing and sometimes it isn't to know what you need to do. I think in the case of Moreno in that final game, it was a blessing for him because, you know, it was pretty straightforward, 4-2 or better, and I'm in the finals night, and you could tell how much it meant to him to make tomorrow's finals night, because he certainly wasn't a player that we thought about on Monday morning that may find his way into tomorrow night, but he's done just that, and credit to him.
Yeah, confirmation then of the league standings in Group B, and it was the man who was 80-1 to top the table at the start of the night before a dart had been thrown, Sean McDonald, who ends the night on 10 points. Just sum up how impressed you have been with what he did on the oche and what he was saying up here as well, because very level-headed, and said he only gets to play darts one weekend a month. I wouldn't mind being able to do that.
Yeah, I said to Henry, I think if I played 7 days a week for 4 weeks a month, I don't think I'd be as good as him. But yeah, it's just the way he dealt with the disappointment of Thursday night, missing out 3 matches by the odd leg. It just showed great maturity and great tenacity to bounce back. But we said expect the unexpected in this group, and that's exactly how he played out. But he was superb tonight. I think he's averaged around 95 for the night, and he's going to be a big threat tomorrow night.
Yeah, head didn't drop last night at any point either, did it? And many players could learn a thing or two from that.
Yeah, and he said it was interesting that usually in last leg shootouts it's sort of his forte. And he didn't allow himself once to sort of, or poor me. He just turned up tonight, realised what he had to do, what he's got in the locker. And I think for a player that doesn't play very much, Thursday night was almost like a practice session from him. But we did say at the top, if he goes 4 out of 4, he wins the group, and that's what he's done.
Yeah, 6 players through to tomorrow's finals night. Then let's have a look at those groups and how the players will battle it out tomorrow. In Group 1, we've got John Henderson, Scott Baker and Scott Marsh. And then in Group 2, Moreno Michels, Fallon Sherrock and Sean McDonald. If you were to be in one, which one would you want to be in, Mace?
Not Fallon's. You know how much I enjoy playing a woman. Yeah, but I don't really want to be in Group 1 either, with John Henderson, Scott Baker and Scott Marsh in there. I think it's 2 fascinating groups, totally different dynamics in each group. We've got sort of the pace of Baker in Group 1, and sort of Hendo's not exactly slow, that's for sure. Scott Marsh is the sedate player in there, and McDonald the one in Group 2. It's going to be a fascinating finals night. Don't ask me to pick a winner. But if you do, I'll say John Henderson, just based on that experience. But it wouldn't surprise me. We know on Saturday nights anything can happen.
I love that you knew that that's where I was going. But today has, of course, been a history-making day here at the Super Series. Fallon Sherrock became the first female player to ever hit a 9-darter on TV. So we're going to leave you with that moment now.
Max. Max.
180. 140.
Nearly followed by one of Lipscomb's own. And Sherrock is continuing upon a road towards perfection. That's a second max in succession. Never has it been done on television by a female player before. Fallon Sherrock wants treble 19. And now double 12 to become the first ever female player to hit a televised 9-star finish. Fallon Sherrock is a history maker once again.